For years, the public has believed that principles of order and gender equality have been upheld within the royal family. But behind the ancient walls and the glow of ceremony, something has been quietly brewing, something no outsider could have anticipated. Small cracks are beginning to spread, and this time, silence is no longer enough to hide the truth. Princess Anne and King Charles, two loyal children of Queen Elizabeth, are on the verge of an unavoidable confrontation. A secret buried for far too long is finally surfacing. This isn't just a typical family dispute. It's a quiet but dangerous crisis that could forever change how the public sees the royal family. Join us as we uncover the truth behind the walls and explore what this could mean for the future of the British monarchy. Don't forget to comment 1 if you resonate with this story, or 0 if you see it differently. Share your thoughts with us, and make sure to like and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss what happens next. We're about to reveal every secret in this unfolding drama. For a long time, there has been gender equality. It took a little time to ease, but not much. Something serious is unfolding within the walls of the palace, and it is unlike anything the royal family has faced before. What was once a quiet family matter has become uncontrollable. This time, the truth is gradually coming to light. Princess Anne and King Charles have reached a breaking point over a truth that has been hidden for too long. But this isn't just about family disagreements. It is something much deeper. Let's delve into what this means for the future of the monarchy. A story of entanglements. At first, it may not be clear why Princess Anne and Queen Camilla never formed a close bond. Both women hold significant roles in the royal family, and on the surface, they seem to share common values and responsibilities. But upon a closer look at their history, the reason for their distant relationship becomes more personal and much more complicated. It is not just about royal duties or public image. Their story has spanned many years and is deeply tied to love, loyalty, and disappointment. Long before Camilla became part of the royal family, she had a relationship with Andrew Parker Bowles. What many may not realize is that Andrew was also very close to Princess Anne. They shared a genuine bond, and for a time, they seemed to believe they had a future together. But their hopes were ultimately blocked by a significant obstacle. Andrew was Catholic, and Anne was a member of the Church of England. Due to the strict rules at the time, Anne could not marry a Catholic. Although marriage was no longer discussed, Anne and Andrew maintained a strong connection, but it eventually faded as they went down separate paths. At the same time, Camilla Shand was in an on-again, off-again relationship with Andrew. Their romantic relationship went through many ups and downs, with periods of closeness and distance. During one of these breakups, Camilla met Charles, Anne's brother, and everything began to change. Prince Charles found himself drawn to Camilla's personality. She had a calm confidence that he admired. But their relationship did not easily progress. Camilla was not considered a suitable match for a future king. Some people thought she lacked the image and background for the role. She was also a little older than Charles and had past relationships that raised concerns within the royal family. On top of that, Charles was sent on military duty with the Royal Navy. When he returned, he discovered that Camilla had returned to Andrew, and not long after, the two married in 1973. This event changed everything. Charles lost the woman he loved, and Anne witnessed the man who had once meant so much to her marry someone else. the same man who had shared a deep connection with both Anne and Camilla, which made the situation more complicated. It was no longer just about who would end up with whom. These relationships created emotional scars and complicated feelings that lasted for years. These events continued to shape the private world of the royal family for decades. Anne moved on and chose a different path. She married Mark Phillips and focused on her royal duties with great seriousness. Although her romantic relationship with Andrew had ended, they remained very close. In fact, she respected him so much that she chose him as the godfather for her daughter, Zara Tyndall. This lifelong closeness between Anne and Andrew, though harmless, may have caused some discomfort for Camilla throughout her marriage to him. It's not easy to ignore the strong bond your spouse once had with a former lover, especially when that former lover is someone as famous and admired as Princess Anne. Camilla, known for her composure in public, has never openly shown any dislike for Anne, but keen royal watchers can sense the silent tension between them. The situation grew more delicate years later when Camilla's marriage to Andrew ended, and she eventually married Prince Charles. Now, Camilla was not only the former wife of Anne's ex, but also the wife of Anne's brother. This added another layer of awkwardness to a relationship already strained by a long and complicated history. Even more, Camilla is still seen by many as the woman who played a role in the end of Charles and Diana's marriage. Diana had captured the public's love and sympathy, and her memory remains strong. As a result, Camilla's presence has stirred mixed feelings not just within the royal family, but perhaps among the public as well. Anne has always been known for her loyalty to royal tradition. She does not easily embrace those who challenge those values or enter the family under complicated circumstances. For someone like Anne, who has lived her entire life with discipline and commitment, Camilla's path into the royal family was difficult to accept. Anne, shaped by years of royal service and personal experience, sees Camilla not just as an individual, but as a symbol of change within the monarchy. A monarchy that no longer always adheres to the old rules. She may not personally hate Camilla, but she certainly doesn't approve of the choices that led to Camilla's role as queen. From Anne's perspective, royal life means duty first, emotions second. That belief has guided her actions and may have created an emotional distance between her and Camilla. Over time, the public rarely saw moments where both women were together. Although they attended the same events, their interactions were brief and formal. Behind the scenes, a real connection never truly formed. Too much had happened. Shared history, intersecting paths, heartaches, and shifting roles in the family made it difficult to build anything meaningful. Their story was not one of public conflict or dramatic confrontations. It was a quiet tale of unresolved emotions, missed opportunities, and royal duties that shaped every decision. What began as a love triangle gradually evolved into a lifelong tension. As the years passed, both held firmly to their positions, continuing their roles within the monarchy with silent determination, but never truly side by side, duty over affection. Anne has always carried a quiet strength. She is steadfast, pragmatic, and entirely focused on her royal duties. She does not offer respect easily, nor does she smile simply for the sake of politeness. To Anne, respect must be earned through action. Family ties or royal titles mean little if they are not backed by commitment and genuine effort. So when Camilla officially became part of the royal family, Anne did not rush to welcome her with open arms. She kept her distance, observed carefully, and offered no more than what was truly necessary. Camilla's presence in the royal household brought its own set of challenges. She knew her journey would not be a smooth one. She understood that many within the monarchy and the public held strong opinions about her. Determined not to let the past or others' expectations define her, she slowly and steadily began taking on more royal responsibilities. She immersed herself in charity work, stood by Charles at official events, and learned to move with grace and poise within the royal world. Over time, her dedication became more apparent. She didn't just show up at events for appearances. She worked behind the scenes, invested her time, listened, learned, and adjusted. As Camilla's presence became more visible, Anne's attitude toward her began to shift. It wasn't a dramatic change. Anne didn't suddenly become warm or affectionate, but she began to acknowledge Camilla's efforts. She noticed how hard Camilla worked and how seriously she took her responsibilities. The strong resistance that had once been there gradually softened. Anne began to realize that Camilla wasn't there just to enjoy the privileges of royal life. She was there to contribute. However, even with this change, their relationship remained formal. It never evolved into a deep connection. There was a courteous distance between them. At royal events, they were often seen standing near each other, smiling when expected, exchanging words when necessary. But their smiles rarely reached their eyes, and their conversations lacked warmth. To the outside world, they appeared polite. But to the more observant, it was clear that their relationship was more about maintaining appearances than enjoying each other's company. Much of this quiet tension stemmed from the differences in how they viewed their roles. Anne has spent her entire life within the royal circle. She was raised in tradition and shaped by strict expectations. She rarely speaks of it. She simply shows up, time and again, to do her work without fanfare. She is one of the busiest members of the royal family, but she never boasts about it. She believes in action over image. Camilla's path was very different. Though she also came from a wealthy background, she grew up outside the royal system. She wasn't trained for this life. Instead, she had to adapt quickly, learning to bear the weight of public opinion while crafting a new image for herself. She chose to step into the spotlight more deliberately, using media appearances and carefully planned initiatives to change how people saw her. Her journey has been about winning hearts and proving her worth, not just behind closed doors, but also in front of the cameras. This contrast in styles naturally created some tension. Anne sees duty as something simple and often private. Camilla sees it as something that sometimes needs to be demonstrated and shared, especially when public opinion once stood firmly against her. Anne's view of royal life is shaped by tradition. Camilla's journey is shaped by the need to adapt. These differences didn't necessarily make them enemies, but they did keep them apart. However, over the years, something like balance formed between them. They were rarely seen in deep conversation or warm moments, but they worked together without public conflict. Both women have carved out their own place within the royal family. Anne continued her steady path, marked by silent dedication and discipline. Camilla took a gentler, but more public route, focusing on charity work and her role alongside King Charles. Yet at times, their differences still became apparent. As Camilla took on greater responsibilities, especially as her role became more significant, Anne's silent judgment could still be felt. She may have questioned whether public approval and media appeal should carry such weight within the royal structure. For Anne, duty was never about acceptance. It was about showing up, no matter the circumstance. Anne, in particular, carried concerns that went beyond personal discomfort. Her doubts about Camilla weren't merely about like or dislike. They stemmed from her deep understanding of what the royal family should be. She believed in discipline, in placing the crown above everything, and in leading by example through continuous service. She wasn't sure Camilla fully understood the weight of that responsibility. Even as Camilla's role expanded, Anne's steady presence remained unchanged. The two women continued to move in the same circles, often side by side, but never fully connected. Princess Anne has always been loyal to the crown. Her loyalty to the monarchy, shaped by years of service and a deep bond with her late mother, Queen Elizabeth, drove her to fiercely protect the institution's reputation. She was raised in an environment surrounded by rules, responsibilities, and a profound sense of duty. These values were not just inherited, they were lived every day. In contrast, Camilla had once chosen to stay in the background. She maintained a humble approach for years, carefully reshaping how people saw her. Only after much time and effort did she begin to step forward with more confidence. Though her growing popularity was not universally welcomed, some within the royal family remained hesitant. Their relationship, shaped by quiet differences and mutual caution, became a small reflection of the broader story of the modern royal family. A story rooted in history but constantly adapting to new realities, all in service of protecting the legacy of the crown. So when her brother Charles began moving closer to making Camilla his wife, Anne struggled to accept it. To her, the idea wasn't merely uncomfortable, it felt like a threat to everything the royal family stood for. Throughout Princess Diana's life, the relationship between Charles and Camilla had been the focus of public controversy. The world had watched, judged, and criticized. Anne believed that the damage from those years had left a lasting scar on the royal image. In her mind, allowing Camilla to become queen, consort, or otherwise, risked making that scar permanent. It wasn't just a personal opinion. For Anne, it was about safeguarding the honor of the monarchy. From the beginning, Anne didn't believe Camilla could truly fulfill the responsibilities of a senior royal. She didn't see the same commitment, strength, or tireless work ethic found in those who embraced their roles with wholehearted purpose. To Anne, being royal was never about titles, praise, or luxury. It was about serving people with grace, strength, and quiet determination. Camilla, in her view, had yet to prove she could do that. She appeared to lack the qualities Anne believed were essential: discipline, resilience, and a strong sense of public responsibility. Over time, the situation grew more complex. The monarchy had entered a new phase, and so had Camilla's role. Now, as queen, she was no longer a secondary figure. She stood beside the king, representing the royal family to the world. The gravity of this shift required serious discussion. A private royal family meeting was arranged to address Camilla's position, and Anne made sure her voice was heard. She didn't hold back. She had never been one to sugarcoat the truth, especially when it came to duty. Her words were clear and direct. She spoke not to attack, but to protect. To her, this wasn't personal. It was about what the monarchy needed to remain strong and respected. She believed the role of queen required someone who could earn the people's trust, someone who lived and breathed service every day. Anne didn't think Camila was that person. The conversation was deeply tense. Anne's position remained solid. She had dedicated her entire life to the crown. Year after year, she carried out hundreds of royal duties, traveling across the country and beyond, always present, always fulfilling her role. While others might seek the spotlight, Anne had taken on the unnoticed tasks, less glamorous but equally vital. Camila listened quietly, trying to remain composed, but Anne's words struck with force. This time, it wasn't about the press or the critics. It was about family. The criticism didn't come from strangers. It came from someone within the palace walls, someone whose opinion carried real weight. It was a deep and genuine hurt. Camila had spent years rebuilding her image in the public eye. Gradually, she had turned the tide. The scandals that once followed her had faded. She had become more accepted, more involved, more respected. But in this moment, all of that effort was thrown into question. Camila has overcome pain and fought relentlessly to rebuild her image. But can she maintain the acceptance and respect she has gained? Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know whether you think Camila deserves recognition or not. Her reputation as the hardest-working royal wasn't just a title. It was earned through a lifetime of quiet, consistent service. In the center of the room sat King Charles. He remained calm, his expression steady as he listened to the conversation unfolding. What was remarkable, if I may say so, was the growing consensus around what needed to be done. Now, around him, others were sharing their thoughts, but Anne's words carried a different weight. They stemmed from experience, from a lifetime understanding what it meant to represent the crown. Sitting next to him was Camila, her face reflecting a mix of strength and sorrow. She had handled criticism before, but this was different. It came from within the royal family, from someone she had hoped to win favor with. Anne spoke with confidence. She wasn't attacking Camila out of anger. Her concern was for the future of the monarchy and the need to protect its values. To her, royal life wasn't something one simply steps into. It was a calling demanding total dedication. And in Anne's eyes, Camila still hadn't shown that she was the right person to bear that responsibility. Even when King Charles attempted to balance the conversation, Anne remained unwavering. Her sense of duty was too strong. She was willing to speak the difficult truths, even when they caused pain. It wasn't about bias or bitterness. It was about preserving the crown's legacy. This meeting laid bare the deep emotions within the royal family. It showed just how difficult it was to separate personal feelings from public roles. It highlighted that even within the walls of tradition and ceremony, difficult conversations still had to take place. Anne held firm to her beliefs. Knowing the price she had to pay, Camila, painful but calm, bore the weight of the moment, a reminder that every step forward in the royal world was hard-fought and never guaranteed. Throughout this time, Anne remained steadfast, her loyalty to the crown unwavering. Her words, sharp yet sincere, were spoken with purpose, and in that quiet room, filled with tension, her message was clear. Above all, duty had to come first. Facing yet another opposition, Camilla had spent many years fighting to earn her place in the royal family. She had shown patience, worked hard, and remained committed to her role. She did everything possible to win the public's respect and integrate into the royal circle. Over time, she began to be accepted. Though it wasn't always easy, she was often compared to others and faced harsh public judgment. Nevertheless, Camilla remained strong and continued to carry out her royal duties with dignity. Her journey had been long and challenging, but eventually, she had reached a place of recognition and honor. Then, Catherine appeared. Her arrival changed everything. Catherine quickly became a beloved figure. Her charm and elegance reminded many of Princess Diana. The media couldn't stop talking about her. They called her the new symbol of grace and compassion. These comparisons made things difficult for Camilla, and her efforts seemed to fade into the background. All the work she had put in over the years suddenly seemed overlooked. It felt as though Catherine had become the star everyone had been waiting for. The spotlight that once seemed within Camilla's reach now shone brightly on Catherine. Though Catherine gained increasing fame, both women showed solidarity. In public, Camilla and Catherine appeared to get along well. Their similar smiles and appearances led people to believe that all was peaceful within the royal family. But rumors began to spread. People started speculating about how Camilla might actually feel about Catherine. Whispers circulated that she looked down on Catherine's background. Camilla grew up in luxury, a part of the upper class from a young age. In contrast, Catherine came from a middle-class family. Her parents worked hard to build a successful business, but they didn't come from aristocratic lineage. Catherine led a normal life before meeting Prince William. She attended university, just like many young women her age, where she met William. Their relationship developed slowly and naturally. People loved this about her. She wasn't a celebrity or royalty. She was just a kind and down-to-earth woman who happened to fall in love with a prince. Their love story seemed genuine and sincere. This made Catherine even more endearing to the public. When Catherine and William married in 2011, the whole country celebrated. Everyone was delighted to welcome someone like her into the royal family. From the moment she walked down the aisle, Catherine became a symbol of modern royalty. She was beautiful and gentle, with a warm, friendly personality. She didn't act as though she was better than anyone else. Instead, she spent time with ordinary people, volunteering and showing real concern for others. Whether talking to important world leaders or playing with children, she always seemed natural and genuine. Catherine's popularity continued to grow with each public appearance. She was often praised for her style, kindness, and grace. Wherever she went, crowds gathered to catch a glimpse of her. In contrast, Camilla still faced criticism and comparison. She constantly tried to prove her worth, especially as the wife of Prince Charles. While Catherine gained love and admiration, Camilla continued to struggle. She had fought so hard to be accepted, but now, once again, she was overshadowed by someone else. The attention Catherine received made things even harder for Camilla. But no matter how hard she tried, it seemed people cared more about Catherine. Even within the royal family, Catherine had formed close bonds. Queen Elizabeth admired her, and Prince Harry clearly adored her. The connection she shared with those around her was sincere and warm. Camilla couldn't help but feel isolated. She might have felt that all the attention she once hoped for had now shifted to someone else. As time passed and Charles finally became king, Camilla reached a new pinnacle in her life. Now she was the queen, a role that marked the height of her royal journey. However, even with this great honor, something still seemed to be missing. Her face often showed signs of unease. Instead of joy, there was a quiet disappointment. Catherine's fame had not faded. If anything, it had grown stronger. Camilla and Catherine continued to appear together, smiling for the cameras and supporting each other at events. They followed royal etiquette, showing respect and unity. But behind the scenes, there was a kind of competition. It wasn't something openly spoken about, but it was felt. The two women carry out their roles gracefully, yet the silent tension remains behind the scenes. Each of them is acutely aware of how the public perceives and judges them. The world sees them together, poised and calm. But beneath it all, the emotions are much more complex. Camilla has spent many years earning her place. Catherine, on the other hand, seems to have won the hearts of everyone overnight. This quiet rivalry has shaped their relationship. It doesn't show through words or actions, but it's there. In the way they stand, the way they smile, and in how they behave under the constant scrutiny of the world, fighting in a battle already lost. This is not something we can quickly change. The relationship between Camilla the Queen and Catherine the Princess of Wales has been shaped by years of changing public opinion, royal expectations, and contrasting personalities. These two women hold powerful roles in the royal family, but the way the public perceives and supports them has always been vastly different. This difference plays a significant role in how they are treated and the level of influence each holds. While Catherine is loved by many as a modern and graceful royal, Camilla has had to struggle with her past and earning full acceptance from the public, even after many years of dedicated service. Catherine has always been seen as a fresh presence and warmly welcomed into the royal family. People admire her for her warmth, composure, and sincerity. Her background, more common than most other royals, makes it easier for the public to connect with her. Her marriage to Prince William made her even more famous, and her behavior in public only earned her more respect. She is often photographed smiling, engaging kindly with others, and participating in activities that are truly significant to everyday families. Camilla's journey has been much more complicated. For many years, she was perceived negatively, especially due to her association with the painful breakup of Charles and Diana. The media portrayed her as an outsider, and that image stayed with her for a long time. Even though she married Charles and became queen, many still associate her with a troubled past. She has taken on many responsibilities, worked with various charities, and shown her loyalty to the royal family. However, her efforts often went unnoticed or were overshadowed by memories of past scandals. The media has played a significant role in shaping the public's perception of these two women. Catherine is often portrayed in a glowing light. Her photos are frequently praised, and articles about her focus on her kindness and her role as a devoted mother. In contrast, coverage of Camilla has been more divisive. Some articles acknowledge her work, but many still talk about her past or compare her to Diana. On social media, these differences are even more apparent. Catherine's posts are filled with admiration and support, while Camilla often receives mixed reactions or negative comments. All of this not only affects how the public perceives them, but also impacts their influence within the royal family. Catherine is now seen as the one who holds the future of the monarchy in her hands. Her fame has made her a powerful figure behind the scenes. Those within the palace are said to value her opinions and see her as someone who can lead the family into a new era. On the other hand, Camilla still faces doubts from both the public and perhaps even her own family. She has to work harder to maintain her position, often relying on tradition and her role as Charles's wife. The very structure of the royal family adds additional pressure. Everything is done according to long-established customs, with each member having a position and role shaped by centuries of history. This makes things more difficult when someone like Catherine begins to stand out, more due to her fame and influence. While everyone is expected to follow the rules, personal ambition and public opinion can change how things actually unfold behind the scenes. Camilla's position as queen consort brings her many responsibilities. She is expected to support the king, represent the crown, and help shape the public image of the family. Her role is not just symbolic, it also involves real influence. However, Catherine's growing fame and her position as the wife of the future king and mother of the next generation have made her a powerful figure as well. She brings modern values into a very traditional context, which attracts attention and admiration in ways that Camilla cannot achieve. Prince William also plays a role in this shift of power. His clear support for Catherine increases her significance within the family. As the future king, his loyalty is crucial. Meanwhile, Charles must balance his responsibilities as the king with his relationship with both his wife and his son's family. This balance is fragile, and any signs of favoritism or tension could lead to deeper divisions. In this quiet yet very real competition to gain attention, approval, and influence, both women must be careful and diplomatic. Catherine's influence continues to grow as she focuses on important causes and her family values. Her relationship with the public is reinforced by her dedication to mental health, early childhood education, and family well-being. Her actions show that she understands the concerns of ordinary people, which makes her more respected and admired. For her part, Camilla tries to maintain her relevance by staying close to tradition and King Charles. She has also made efforts to secure her role and honor for her family, which some see as a way to strengthen her legacy. However, these moves do not always help her public image. In contrast, Catherine's modern and adaptable approach is seen as more suited to today's world, helping her to remain in the public's favor. Catherine uses her popularity and connection with the public to strengthen her position. By showing concern for social issues, especially mental health, early childhood education, and family, she has built a strong and stable public image. The strong support from the public is a key factor that helps her maintain and grow her influence within the royal family. Camilla, on the other hand, relies on her royal title and long-standing experience in navigating the challenges of royal life. Although she has made efforts to contribute and serve the monarchy, her controversial past continues to prevent her from being fully accepted by the public. Her adherence to tradition and long-established roles within the royal family has helped her endure, but it has not been easy for her to become a beloved figure like Catherine. So we've taken a look back at a journey that has spanned decades, a journey not only of royal duties, but also of patience, struggle, and the desire for acceptance. Camila has been through so much, from a woman once shunned by public opinion to the wife of a king, and finally, Queen Consort of the United Kingdom. She has worked, stayed silent, endured, and tried to fit into a world that never truly welcomed her in the first place. Yet despite it all, public opinion remains divided. Some view her with sympathy and respect, while others still cannot forget the controversial chapters of the past. Can Camila ever be fully accepted by the public? This isn't just a question about her as an individual. It's a question about forgiveness, about time, and about society's ability to change its perceptions. Don't forget to leave a comment with the number 1 if you feel empathy for Camila, or a 0 if you see things differently. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click on the next video on your screen for more great content. We'll see you in the next one.